Mason Greenwood is reportedly set to make a return to Manchester United, with the club leaving his long-term future in the hands of the newly appointed sporting director. The Red Devils have been careful not to rush into any decision, mindful of the sensitivity surrounding the forward situation, and are instead waiting for a reshuffle behind the scenes to bring greater clarity. The 22-year-old striker was allowed to depart Old Trafford on loan after a deal was reached with La Liga side Getafe in September 2023. That agreement has since been extended through to the end of the season, offering Greenwood the opportunity to showcase his ability in Spain while also rebuilding his reputation on the pitch. His time in La Liga has not gone unnoticed. Greenwood has performed with a level of sharpness and confidence that has earned plaudits in Spain and beyond. This revival has sparked interest from several top clubs, including Barcelona and Atletico Madrid, who are believed to be monitoring his situation with keen intent. It was widely assumed that Greenwood's career at Manchester United had reached an irreversible conclusion when he bid farewell to the club before departing for Spain. His last appearance in a United shirt came in early 2022, shortly before his arrest by police on allegations of attempted rape, assault, and controlling behavior. Those charges were ultimately dropped in February 2023, which technically cleared the way for him to resume his professional career. Yet despite the dismissal of the case, the atmosphere at Old Trafford meant there was no straightforward route back into Erik ten Hag's plans. United were wary of the optics, conscious of both public perception and the potential reaction within the dressing room. For that reason, Greenwood's future has remained in limbo. While Getafe have provided him with a platform, the Red Devils have opted to bide their time, recognizing that a permanent resolution would require a change of leadership in the club's sporting structure. The arrival of Ineos and Sir Jim Ratcliffe's stake in United has added a new layer to the conversation. Transfer insider Fabrizio Romano shed further light on the matter in a recent interview with ggmu. He confirmed that United's hierarchy, along with Ineos, want a new sporting director to assume responsibility for decisions on players such as Greenwood and Jadon Sancho. The latter is also due to return to Manchester this summer following his loan at Borussia Dortmund. Romano explained that nothing definitive will be settled in the immediate months. At the end of the season, Sancho and Greenwood will come back, he stated. With those players, Manchester United and Ineos want the new sporting director to take the decision and to be responsible for what happens next. So it's still early, and for Greenwood, I don't think anything will be decided now in February or March. That's more likely to be discussed in May or June. This stance underscores how the new leadership want to approach matters with due diligence. Sir Jim Ratcliffe's minority stake, worth 25% of the club, has been positioned as a catalyst for sweeping reform at Old Trafford. Already, his influence is beginning to reshape the management team and long-term planning. Among the most pressing priorities is the appointment of a new sporting director. United are said to be highly interested in prizing Dan Ashworth away from Newcastle United, with the Magpies reluctant to part ways but aware of the pull that United hold. Ashworth, widely respected for his work in recruitment and strategic planning, would be tasked with tackling some of the club's most complex challenges. Alongside this potential appointment, the club has already secured a significant acquisition in the form of Omar Barada, who is set to take over as Chief Executive Officer. Poached from rivals Manchester City, Barada's arrival is seen as a statement of intent, reflecting United's ambition to modernize their executive structure and learn from best practice elsewhere. For Greenwood, the implications are clear. His future at Old Trafford is bound not only to his performances on the pitch but also to the philosophy and judgment of the incoming sporting director. Any pathway back into the United squad would need to be carefully managed, with an emphasis on both footballing value and the reputational considerations that surround him. Supporters remain divided. Some feel Greenwood's talent is too significant to overlook and that he deserves a chance to rebuild his career in England, especially given that the charges were dropped. Manchester United are anticipated to face a considerable challenge in their pursuit of Brighton and Hove Albion midfielder Carlos Baleba during the forthcoming January transfer window. The Old Trafford hierarchy, according to reports from Football Insider, have not abandoned their admiration for the young midfielder and are preparing another attempt to secure his services. Yet, their ambition could well collide with the harsh reality of Brighton's notoriously uncompromising stance in the market, particularly during the middle of a campaign. The Red Devils, who have undergone a significant period of transition both on and off the pitch, are believed to regard Baleba as a long-term solution for their midfield concerns. With Casemiro nearing the latter stages of his peak years, the club have quietly been scouring Europe for a player capable of replicating his defensive steel whilst offering a more dynamic presence in possession. Baleba, with his remarkable blend of athleticism, reading of the game, and ability to shield the backline, ticks several of the boxes United's recruitment team are eager to fill. Nevertheless, Brighton's record in the transfer market has been nothing short of exemplary in recent years. They have built a reputation for identifying undervalued talents, nurturing them, and then demanding premium fees once bigger clubs inevitably come knocking. From Ben White to Alexis Mac Allister and Moises Caicedo, the Seagulls have consistently shown they are not a selling club on anyone else's terms. The notion that they might willingly part with Baleba mid-season, especially when he has only recently settled into life at the Amex, is fanciful at best. Baleba himself has been a revelation since arriving on the south coast from Lille in the summer of 2023. Despite his tender years, the Cameroonian-born midfielder has shown remarkable maturity, integrating seamlessly into the Premier League's demanding rhythm. His robust challenges, calm distribution, and positional awareness have quickly endeared him to Brighton supporters, who now see him as integral to the club's ambitions under Roberto De Zerbi's stewardship. For Manchester United, the attraction lies not only in Baleba's present ability but also in his potential ceiling. At just 21 years of age, he represents the type of investment that can pay dividends for the next decade, provided his development continues on its current trajectory. In a league where midfield dominance often separates contenders from pretenders, United are desperate to future-proof an area of the pitch that has looked increasingly vulnerable. United's interest in Baleba is not new. During the previous transfer window, the club made discreet inquiries regarding his availability, only to be firmly rebuffed by Brighton. The Seagulls, knowing full well the value of their asset, were adamant that he was not for sale. That stance is unlikely to soften during the January window, especially when any departure would risk destabilizing their campaign and weakening their chances of securing another European berth. Financially too, Brighton are under no pressure to sell. The club are well run, have already banked substantial sums from high-profile sales, and are in no mood to part with one of their most promising prospects unless they receive an eye-watering bid. United, themselves constrained by financial fair play regulations and the need to balance their books, are unlikely to stretch to the sort of figure that might test Brighton's resolve in the middle of the season. The very culture of Brighton's transfer dealings further complicates matters. The South Coast club pride themselves on dictating terms, extracting maximum value, and ensuring they never appear desperate. In essence, United would be negotiating with one of the toughest sellers in the league. To prize Baleba away in January would require both extraordinary finances and an extraordinary level of persuasion, two commodities that do not sit easily with the current realities at Old Trafford.